Thomas, you're sitting on pit road. This guy right here, he's been able to find speed.
Okay.
Josh Berry, he's been fast, leading the race last week
Guy.
in Texas, spun out.
Get off my couch.
Yeah, he was 7th in practice, so this is a really good baseline for one of these guys that has to go out early. Josh ran a 30:19 in practice.
We've seen the takeoff speed out of this race car each and every week, and you're seeing it again today. Whoa! Full commitment. Got into the wall, getting into 3. Went for it, didn't he?
That thing, and it never even thought about turning. You see the paint in the right front tire right there. There's a good possibility of some pretty good damage right there. That thing hit flat too.
This is the one that had the left rear flat in practice, drove it all the way around the racetrack, kind of documented and was talking about, did it drag any of the aero things, the qualities underneath the race car. Make a note of that. You cannot cheat any of that stuff.
Yeah, not a great lap right there. 30.6 for Brad. So
And that's slower than he ran.
If the 54, the 88, and the 19 have trouble as well.
Well, here's another guy that was really good in practice. Alex Bowen was 3rd quick at a 30:10. You know, Noah's at a 29:80 right now. You see Bowen's kind of on that same pace that Josh Berry was.
Great racetrack for him.
Yeah.
It all starts with a good qualifying effort.
Yeah, looks like it's stuck right here. We have good exit speed back to the line.
29.
So Hamlin wasn't, we can reference, he wasn't able to run that fast lap in race trip. Did he choose to be that way? Does his car not have short run speed?
Well, the hardest part too is you can't go back on last year and look at, comparisons because
look
of
at
the
that.
left side tire.
Really good exit by the 11 right there. Off of turn 2.
Yeah, and as you talk about Denny Hamlin, we talk about how good his car was in race trim.
You don't see that commitment out of Denny Hamlin very often. He went for it right there. Yeah, paying off.
And his teammate, Christopher Bell, as Hamlin goes to the top of the board at a 29.63.
Full committed.
Good lap.
Well, he always underplays everything. That guy's pretty sneaky.
Well, he's talking about the cars going out later. There's only 4 of them later. It ain't much later.
I think he was referencing to Hamlin maybe when he went out there.
No, you're right, but he's talking about the cars later. He said they're going to be fast.
We see Shane Van Gisbergen finish up his qualifying lap. He was another one of those cars that rode around with a flat tire so far.
Limited practice, honestly, wasn't a horrible lap for Shane right there.
See, another guy that's been really good this season, Ryan Preece. They've qualified well, they've raced well, they've done a lot of things really good. Had some bad luck.
Yeah, he was off in practice. Like Busher, I thought that car was really quick. Brad struggled right here in qualifying, and Preece was not good on the overall speed. Looks like he's gonna have an okay lap right here, though. He lost a lot of time right there in the middle, 3 or 4. That's gonna carry all the way down to the start-finish line.
Yeah, when we go all the way back to the very first car in qualifying, of course.
Confident in his speed in his race car. On his interview, said he was going to go out and seem pretty smooth, steady, calm.
They seem pretty much committed to wide open right there.
I was going to say that just looking at the tracker, for as much throttles he had, it doesn't look like it's as fast of a lap as you'd expect to see right there. But good 3 and 4 right here for Bubba Wallace. You said it, Kevin, really committed to the throttle on this car.
Well, and I think both he and P2 right there, no breath of the throttle right there, and you see him cut that apron, and that's really just for a distance thing, but that's become a thing in this Gen 7 car to cut the racetrack right there.
Watch this.
And that's all it takes.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that little bit of speed you lose down the back stretch. You see how committed he can be here. It's nervous in 3 and 4 for all of these guys. It's like 1 and 2. It seems to be a little bit of an easier quarter for him. Good lap again, though, for Michael McDowell. Look at that.
Top of the board, Michael McDowell.
Coming to the green, you know it right here, like what you're going to have.
Well, you heard him left right there.
This is one of the cars that had flats. He drove around there. It was really looked like it drove quite a bit. I'm going to see how this lap holds up.
Again, 1 and 2, it just seems like most of those guys are able to hold it wide open. So you got really tight to the wall on exit.
Definitely doesn't look loose, though. Had to lift there to keep it out of the wall.
I always felt like in turn 3 here, there's almost a slide later in the lap as you hear him go down on that apron. So that's not going to do anything but give that corner more grip.
Yeah, and
turn it back down the hill off of 2 and gain some ground on McDowell here.
3 and 4 is going to be the difference maker today in qualifying. It looks like most of those guys are getting through 1 and 2. It's all about what can you do in this end. As you see Ty Gibbs right there.
Look at here.
Really good.
Here we go.
The corner.
Stay with it off the corner. I think he's going right to the top of the board.
Big.
That's a pretty big number, Jay. But I can promise you, if it's possible, this guy's going to give it a whirl.
That's right. Fully committed Hocevar. Notice his teammate is already up there, Michael McDowell, in second place. See what he chooses to do down here, turns 3 and 4. Yeah.
And Clint, we saw this a little bit last week, but you see that 54 car way faster on the entrance to turn 3 right there than the 77 car.
Ran low, ran the seam all the way through 3 and 4, stayed lower on the racetrack, and I think he paid the price.
Yeah, and I think that's a result of being nervous with what your car is, trying to give yourself just a little bit of room, wiggle room, knowing how much throttle you have to run through 3 and 4.
Austin Cindric, Talladega winner. Car was pretty good in practice.
Yeah, great last weekend at Texas. I mean, Clint's talked about momentum. 2-car, it's got great momentum on their side, speed-wise. You see right there, really good entry to turn 1. Kind of took a wide arc, continued that momentum all the way down the backstretch.
He's been pretty good as he's come to Kansas. He started top 10 in 3 of his 7 starts. So we expect this car to be up in the front of the field. But we see that 54 car right there. 3 and 4 was just so good for Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, Cindric was the first car we saw really make a difference in 1 and 2. But he just wasn't able to maintain the speed that Ty did through turns 3 and 4. And I think it is to watch that.
I tell you what you do have to worry about. I guess if you're a San Francisco 49er, is his allegiance to you. Because he was a 49ers fan, but my man Beach told me they sent him home with a lot of Chiefs gear for practice yesterday. He liked what he saw.
Well, we see Zane Smith finishing his lap here through turns 3 and 4. He was actually right with Ty Gibbs as he came off the corner, and that was one of the cars 6 quick for Zane.
Yeah, and he said, even though that tire blew out, he's like, we had a great car in the long run, so obviously good car in the short run as well. It'd be a good qualifying spot for him. Guys, just to pick up, everybody's going to look at Ty Gibbs' data to see where he made that lap time up. Larson reference, it seems like 1 and 2 you can almost run wide open. And the one thing I like about that is that when I leave the pits, you kind of get a reference on your up to speed lap of what 3 and 4 can handle. You see right here, what a lap right by the 7 car Justin Haley's got going.
Another Spire car.
But here it comes. Can he make it happen in 3 and 4?
Lower shallow entrance into 3. That hurt. Every single car has that right there if they get shallow into the corner. Flip side of that is you can jump cushion and smoke the wall like Josh Berry did.
Speed laps start to get faster and faster for some of these guys as they're going into turn 1.
It can play tricks with your eyeballs getting into turn 1 too. See where that shadow's right up there against the wall, kind of where your right side tires go? That as that progresses down the hill, it's hard to find that wall.
I don't know about you guys. It always made me feel good when I would cross the start finish line and look down into turn 1 and see the shadow, knowing that the track was going to have more grip if I could get into that. Oh, that's a commitment! Just step right across the line there.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Kyle. We expect that car to be in contention. One of his better racetracks, won here a couple times, in contention to win this race last year.
He stayed committed, didn't he? Maybe a little frustration there.
Next car up is Ty Dillon here, coming to complete his lap. We talked about his race pace being decent.
About 12th place last week in Texas.
Yeah, and I mean, and good lap for him right here because AJ, his teammate, has been a little bit off. And typically when you come to these, you'll come with a similar setup. So the fact that he was able to put that together, it's a decent run for Ty.
Well, we talk about heartbreakers. This guy right here had the biggest heartbreak I've ever seen.
Biggest one I've ever called. That was crushed for him.
That was one of the wildest race finishes I've ever watched. Kind of caught me off guard standing here up in this booth, but you see big speed through turns 1 and 2 for the 17 of Busher.
Yeah, we've said, 3 and 4 is where you're going to make your money, but he's got a 10th in the bank as they head down to 3 and 4. See if he's able to carry that speed that the 54 had on exit. Look at how much Ty closed in through the middle, but I think he had enough.
Had that
up. There you go. What a lap.
Great job.
Top's going to get faster and faster and faster from weather conditions, from rubber off the racetrack, but this guy right here we expect to be up front.
Look at how fast Busher came to the green. You see him a car length ahead of Reddick, and Reddick can run wide open now through 1 and 2, but because you're a mile an hour or so off coming to the green, that carries from the start-finish line all the way over here to turn 3.
There it is. Here we go. Ooh. That shows you there's some juice left to be squeezed in turn 3 right there.
Yeah, Reddick drove in just a little bit harder and was able to commit back to the gas. The track
Ford Mustang. See, all these guys cutting that apron right there. Like we talked, you've got to do that for the distance. It's amazing the distance that it makes up in this car.
It's good for the distance, but it makes your angle into one not good. Like you'd like to enter a little bit higher for a little smoother transition. That's kind of awkward when you're on low, come to the green, you have to move up, hit that bump into turn one, and messes your angle up just a little bit. In his eyes.
He's have to lift quite a bit with his race car. Look how nervous he is with the wheel. Right here. In the corner. There's salt on it, baby.
You have nothing good to say back.
Good news, that's right.
Daniel Suarez, he gets to the green flag pretty decent right there. He didn't lose as much as some of the other guys, but you see that distance kind of stay at about 1 car length from the Buscher car.
Yeah, Buscher's 3 and 4 up to speed were extremely good compared to everybody else we've seen. Just as soon as they crossed the start-finish line, the amount of speed he was able to carry on the entry to turns 1 and 2.
It's not going to be the pole, but it's going to be a good lap for Daniel Suarez. And it's honestly just with the doctor.
Nemechek next to take the green flag. And as we've seen, I think a lot of this, you talk about that up to speed lap, let's not forget, getting off of pit road, getting to the top of the racetrack, all those little details. And as these guys see that 17 car of Chris Buscher have all the distance getting up to speed through turns 1 and 2, they're going to find out exactly what he did and try to replicate that.
Yet again, this isn't going to be a pole speed lap, but kind of like we saw with the Reddick, look at the speed he gained on the entry, but almost overshot the entry a little bit, going to pay the price on exit.
Really, how they do beat him, and what I'm trying to say is if they do beat him, it's conditions.
Well, either way, he's going to better the process of where he went out to where he's going to start this race most likely. So next is what's the house car? It's the Ryan car.
I like it. And fully committed, wide open on his speed lap through 3 and 4. And I don't think I've seen anyone be able to do that yet. We've seen a lot of guys through turns 1 and 2 be able to be committed. Let's see what Chase can do. You see, he got a pretty good run coming to the green, better than most. Not much more than he could have done being wide open down there.
And I think a lot of that coming into the green now is going to be the off of pit road, but how high can you run?
Watch how close. He's closer than anybody has been to him. We know that Buscher ran a little bit low and gave up some speed, but so did he.
It's like he gives up a little bit of speed on the Buscher car. He gives up a little bit of speed from the end of that first third to the middle, but it almost kind of it seems like it even today. You want to be hard on the throttle all the way around.
All the way around.
Eric Jones on board with his spoiler cam right here. It's always fun to watch these guys.
Top 5 last week in Texas. Another good run out of this car.
Yeah, Legacy in general.
They've been good last week.
Yeah, really good. Both those cars.
Right off the truck had good speed.
Big pickup from last year.
Ooh.
He's working. He moved out on the throttle a lot. You saw him really sawing on the wheel.
And it just doesn't do it justice. The commitment level has had some solid finishes, putting himself way later in this qualifying session to give him an opportunity to have a better starting position, to have a better pit stall.
3 top 10s in a row out of this car. A little bit of that momentum.
It's a real thing. That momentum is a real thing. A lot of people underestimate the momentum that goes with auto racing in general, but it happens in this sport just like it does in any other sport.
And Austin just could not commit to and it's an up speed.
He's got some of that Kansas City barbecue in him last night. I kind of surprised me that he was as fast as he was, to be honest.
I was going to say, that might lug you down right there.
Secret ingredient. I cannot wait to dive into some barbecue.
As you talked right here, Clint, he's as close as anybody has been. He knows how to do this. He won the pole here in 2023.
Yeah, I think if there's anything on the table to beat Buscher, it's right here in the corner. A little bit higher on his entry, cross back over.
But Buscher's lap's looking better and better right here, as you see. Just that speed.
Brand new race team, and they are so far in the playoffs. Drove themselves in the playoffs with a great finish last week in Texas.
Great up to speed lap by Stenhouse.
Well, he's coming off of his second top 10 finish of the season, 6th last week at Texas, like you said. But they're doing that by keeping themselves in contention and finishing these races. And
he's right up there against the wall.
Lost a lot of speed right there.
Well, he had to pull out. Yeah, he got right up against the wall.
And either way, I mean, he's going to slot in here. Let's see.
He was
22nd.
He's 22nd right now. Perspective with the first pole that he got, and he did that in the top lane.
Yeah, you mentioned making the track as big as possible. He maybe could have made that, like, leaving pit road a little bit bigger, getting up to speed. We'll see what this 20 car has coming off turn 4.
It'll show up quick right here, and you're going to see it if he's behind that
Ooh, he's
17 car.
Look at that.
So obviously he had a plan, he stuck with it, and it didn't cost him anything.
Yeah, and Buscher's got to be the most nervous about this guy, as Clint mentioned.
Look, he came off the wall a little bit on the exit.
A little bit behind, though, guys.
Hey, what's the speed in that 17?
Yeah.
Straightaway handling looked pretty impressive. There's the deficit that I was talking about. If there's anything on the table, it's getting into 3. Can he bring it back? It's close. Really close.
Wow.
Second quick. Finish did a great job grinding it out. We saw his teammate, Daniel Suarez, P6. See him lose a little bit of distance through turns 1 and 2, so it doesn't look like he's going to be a contender for the pole today.
No.
Top 10, single-digit start here. Still some.
Oh, man, he got close right there to the wall.
Ooh.
You can see the lap time. Yeah. 2 tenths right there, having to roll out in the middle of 3 and 4. He's going to be disappointed with that, getting to go out as late as he.
See a lot of that in practice today with his practice speed, so be interesting to see how much he picks up.
Yeah, his teammate Cindric is in 10th right now. It does seem like the later we went in the session, the better the guys have been up to speed compared to the 17.
17 stayed a little bit lower around that seam in 1 and 2, and it seems to be a big benefactor for him. Obviously, we've covered turn 3, they get closer to him. But man, did he get it all in 1 and 2. And I think it was because he was just a half a car length lower, guys.
At Texas Motor Speedway right here, Joey Logano. Late in this qualifying session, didn't see a lot of speed out of this car, but that doesn't matter when it comes time for qualifying.
Now Logano's got a nice lap going right here, but you mentioned it, Clint. It's like the 17 is just a half a car length lower, and if you're wide open and you can carry the momentum, that distance is what you're seeing is the difference between Logano and everybody seems to gain right there through the middle of 3 and 4, but then
had to lift a little at the wall.
17 gains that speed on the exit. It's gonna be a decent lap for Logano. He's gonna be happy with that.
We only have one guy left to.
They're all gonna have to dodge this guy right here, Kyle Larson. We saw a lot of speed out of this car. We know he's gonna run right up against the wall, and there's not gonna be any question about the commitment to the throttle.
You see it, he's actually similar line right there.
He's
little bit of speed.
Lower.
It's gonna all be.
Look at this.
Yeah.
He's ahead of him, guys.
It's gonna be all about 3 and 4 right here. What can Kyle Larson do? How committed can he stay in the throttle? Look at that, drives in deep, really committed.
He's gonna pay the price.
And he got turned. He's gonna get it.
The last car. The same guy.
Oh
my gosh, that's got to be.
I'm so sorry, Chris Buscher.
Kyle Larson beats Chris Buscher for the pole, and that's just gotta be